केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। So last time we saw 7 questions in this chapter Arjun has asked, and the first 6 were answered in the first 2 verses. So that was pretty quick. And what the topic that is going on is about the last question, the answer to the last question. And the last question was, Prayana kale cha katham neyosi niyatatma bihi. Prayana kal, at the end of at the time of departure, Prayana is departure kale. At the time of departure, how does a man or a person come to know you, but it is qualified? The person is one who has a controlled mind. Niyata atma bhi, atma bhi, here is mind. Of a person of niyat is controlled. So atma, if you take it as pure consciousness, there's no question of control. So it means mind. How does a person who has controlled his mind know you at the time of departure? That is the question. And that is what now Bhagavan is answering. The one thing that we have to know here is that qualification of controlled mind is extremely important. How do I control my mind? For us, for takeaway, how do I control my mind? We have seen various methods. What is controlled mind? First of all, let's understand what does it mean by control of the mind. A controlled mind is one that is not running out with the senses. It is under your control. So what happens is, see, the organs of perception are seeing all these various things. And I see something, mind wants to go there. Nose smell something, mind wants to go there. Now, in most cases, if it is, it's okay. Like, there is, if, for example, it's your day off, you're sitting at home, you've done all your work, you've done whatever studies or whatever that you have to do. And then you see an ad for a movie, and then you want to go for a movie, and then you go for the movie. Okay. Does that mean that mind, because it went for the movie, is not controlled? That is not what is meant. We have to understand what actually control is. Control is when you leave things that you are supposed to do, what is your duty to do, and then you run after the sense objects. That is what is meant by an uncontrolled mind. Where there is duty, no, I have got to get up early tomorrow morning for whatever reason, for work, class, whatever. And there is a lovely movie playing on Netflix. And now I want to watch this till 12 o'clock. And the mind won't let me go to sleep. That is an uncontrolled mind. Okay. So if I have got nothing to do and there's nobody coming to my house, and if there is a movie that I want to see, I can go see. That control, understand what control is. And control is not suppression. It should be sublimation. Control should be, you have to sublimate the mind to a higher goal. I have to get up early in the morning. I will not be able to do it if I just sit right now and watch a late night movie. So I must not watch this movie tonight. Maybe I can watch it some other time. That is a controlled mind. So through karma yoga, when we purify the mind, it will come a purified mind is a controlled mind. As the mind purifies, it will come more and more and more under your control. So even when the mind wants to do something which is not correct, or this thing, you will, most common example that I've given you is of for somebody who is a diabetic. So when the third and the fourth gulab jam is now offered, you must be able to say no. First one, okay, one little bit, but afterwards you have to have the form, and it should not bother you. Oh my God, I should have eaten. That is what is meant by control. So there are two ways in which this mind can be. These are these are a bit high, but if you can do it, this is what I'm going to tell you now is not possible for somebody who is in early stages of studies. See, we have to live in this world. We are living in this world. So one way of controlling the mind is to understand firmly that this mind is nothing but this world is nothing but an illusion. So you're walking in the desert and mirage, and you see water and it is a mirage. Now, are you going to run after that water? Same way, when you are functioning in this world, if you are firmly established in the fact that whatever that I see is really an illusion, am I going to run after that? But this is a very high standpoint, okay? Even to come to understand, it's very difficult for us to understand that the world is illusory. All right. If you can't do this is very high. Next thing is, you consider the world to be real. No problem. Okay, everything is real that you see, because that is how we see. I see, so it is real. Then you must be able to treat the world as, first know that it is a creation of God. And if it is a creation of God, it is God itself. And then your outlook towards that world should be of service, not of bhoga, not of indulgence. So this is a little bit easier. Consider it as real. Okay, no problem. That everything is real, whatever going on is real. But my attitude towards it should be, how can I serve? How can I serve this person? How can I serve that? How can I serve? How can I serve? Because this world is that, we have to know that the world has come from God. I have not created the world. I was born into the world. And when I go, the world is going to continue, because I've seen so many people that have gone and the world is aram se continued, sometimes better only. Somebody came to Gurudev and said, good Lord, Gurudev, what will happen to my family when I die? He said, no, you die, they'll be better off without you. That's Gurudev, not me. Gurudev saying it. So world will continue with or without us. While we are in this world, if we want to achieve what the scriptures are saying, and the scriptures are saying the highest is possible, moksha, then this control of the mind becomes essential. Purification of the mind becomes very essential. Consider the world to be real and serve it. Serve it. Because when you reach a stage where you come to know that this is all an illusion, where is the question of serving? That is why Raman Maharshi could write to his mother. His mother told him, you are my son. You have to take care of me. He said, no, God is taking care of everybody. Where is the question of me taking care of you? So that is Raman Maharshi. Okay, we are here. So we should keep serving the world. Use it as a karma bhumi, not as a bhoga bhumi. Like I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy that. Not like that. That is the first thing about control. Then Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So Bhagwan is now telling him what happens to a person. So he says the one at the time of his death who remembers me, he will come to my bhava. Bhava means he will come to me directly. I told you there are certain rules about memory. Memory is at the time of death, where when all our faculties have become weak, we will not be able to remember something which we have not practiced throughout our life. So when he says at the end of the time, at the time of departure, you remember me, he actually means whole life start now, right now, remembering me, because otherwise it is impossible for us to remember him if we have not done it throughout our life. Second point about memory is that I have to have knowledge. Can I have memory of something that I don't know anything about? I can't, which means that I have to have knowledge of whatever that I am planning to remember whenever. Okay, none other thing. That knowledge, third point, that knowledge also has to be correct. Just this morning, this thought came to me. My husband's name was Girish, okay? Girish is the name of Lord Shiva. Now, if I remember Girish, but in my mind, I get the image of my husband, that is not correct knowledge then. That doesn't mean that I will reach Lord Shiva. Why? Because when I said, I thought of my husband, late husband, not the Lord. So knowledge has to be correctly understood first, okay, and practiced. Maybe I understand very correctly, but I'm not used to taking the Lord's name at all. How will I take it when I'm weak and, can't do anything else, and body is weak, mind is weak, speech is weak? How will I do it? So that is what it is. So he says there is no doubt. There is no doubt that he will come to me, but he must remember. So that, and the principle of it he gives in verse 6, he says that whatever you remember at the last moment, whoever remembers whatever will reach there. And I gave you the story of Jada Bharat, who remembered the deer at the last moment. He said, who will take care of my deer? He became a deer in the next one. That is the principle of this thing. And then Bhagwan says, that's also very important, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. Sarveshu Kaleshu, why is he saying? See, first he said, Antakale, you remember me. That's why people have come and said to Gurudev, why I should study now in the time of my departure. But you will not remember. That's why Bhagwan, when he says Sarveshu Kaleshu, he means start right now. Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. He's telling Arjun, and I told you, the war is specific to Arjun. For us, we don't have a war. But if we keep practicing taking his name, starting right now, whatever stage of life we are at, then anything that happens will take his name. And then at the time of death, the first thing that will come to our mouth is his name. Because that's the practice. Our mind and speech is just practicing to just say the name, and then also have the knowledge of who that is. Who exactly, when I say a name, is the person coming to my mind or is God coming to my mind? So we have to understand that. And Yuddha, I told you, like it's Parasmaya. So for Arjun, it was like, don't fight because your wife was insulted. Fight for the totality. That if you, because if the Kauravas come up, Duryodhan comes, there'll be full adharma only, there will be there. So that reason for the totality. So when he says, Mai arpita manaha, Mai arpita buddhihi, putting your mind in me, it's not like a gulab jam that will take and you put it in a katori and then put it in front of the Lord. No, 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 no. Mind is the seat of emotions. So when you do anything, we have to do it joyfully. Not like, now I have to do, now I have to teach, now I have to again take a class. And if I do kach, then Maya Arpita Buddhi mana is not fulfilled. I have to be happy not to do the class. Anything. It is your job, you're learning something, do it joyfully. When you do it joyfully, because mind is the seat of emotions, mind is the seat of joy and sorrow. So because how is God? God is very joyful all the time. There is no sorrow. There is no sorrow there. So we do whatever is our ordained duty. See, we do our kamya karma. You know what it is? A movie, joyfully I'll run. But when it comes to doing my duty, cooking or taking care of my family, then it's like, do I have to do this? Do I have to cook every day? Do I have to clean every day? No, whatever is your ordained duty, you do it joyfully. And mai arpita buddhihi. So intellect. Intellect is the seat of decisions. So you have to decide what is your duty, correct duty at that moment, and do that. If we can do that, then we have fulfilled this mai arpita manaha, mai arpita buddhi. Okay, mind and intellect, arpita, offered it unto me. So because my mind is offered and you are joyful, then I will be always joyful when I do things. Because you are the one that wrote the scriptures, that gave us the scriptures, which are giving us do's and don'ts. So I will exactly follow what do's and don'ts I have as per my stage in my personal life. So what may be correct for somebody else may not be correct for me. What is correct for me may not be correct for somebody else. So I have to decide. Intellect decides. I am this is the stage of life that I am in. This is the correct things for me. Anything, this is my income. I shouldn't be spending over that. This is my capacity of my body. I shouldn't be extending anything in your own stage. Okay. That decision, when it's taken correctly, and that correct decision is done joyfully, this second line is fulfilled. That's why he says, don't be sad that you have to kill your people, your grandfather and whatever. That was the whole reason. Is my grandfather that I have to kill, my guru I have to kill. No, no. It is your duty right now at this moment. It is Arjuna, it is your duty, and you do it joyfully. And then this thing. And then he will come to me without doubt. Okay? And next he said, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. See, how do I do this? We are talking about a person with a controlled mind. Now, already the mind is controlled. Because that already he qualified. The question itself he has qualified. How does a person of controlled mind? So this controlled person with a controlled mind, then what he does is he does Abhyasa Yoga. Yoga, yuj, coming from yuj to join. So we know Karma Yoga, we know Bhakti Yoga, we know Jnana Yoga, we know Hatha Yoga also. Now a new yoga of Abhyas. So Abhyas is practice. So he says, by practice, you try to join to me. Like, in the morning class, there was a question. How do I not get hurt? How does my ego not? By practice. By practice. That is why I gave the example of Gurudev. That's where the Guru is working on the ego. There are other things also that Tapan Maharaj has done, just to teach the disciples a lesson. That your ego, I'm going to trample your ego, because when you go out, then abhyas, practice will happen. Ego is constantly getting trampled. So when the person goes out and then somebody else tramples, it doesn't matter. My ego is already trampled, is gone. So if somebody else says anything to me, that is abhyas. That is what is abhyas. So what does this controlled person of controlled mind do abhyas of, do practice of? Chetasa na anyagamina. Chetasa, mind. He does not, now this controlled mind, he does not let it go here and there, roam around. He practices it to keep it on one spot. Okay. And on what spot does he keep? This is the start of meditation, lessons on meditation. So first is my controlled mind. Unless the mind is controlled, you cannot sit in the seat of meditation. I mean, you can, but then the mind will be running around here and there. So this controlled mind, person with a controlled mind, he practices. He does Abhyas Yoga. Abhyas he is doing to join to the higher, of not letting the mind go here and there. Na anya gamina. No. Anya, outside. Other. Gamina, going. And then he keeps that mind in Paramam Purusham Divyam. He keeps the mind on that Parama Purusha, which is the pure consciousness. Here, Purusha means pure consciousness, because the middle word Purusham is qualified by Paramam and then Divyam, divine and supreme. And that's why we know that the Purusha here means the pure consciousness. It does, because Purusha can mean mind, Purusha can be in body, Purusha can be in just a man, but it doesn't, because these two qualifying words are there, Paramam and Divyam. Yati Partha Anuchintayan. Partha, O Partha, Anuchintayan means having controlled the mind. Anu is to follow. Anu is following. So following what? Following the control of the mind. So first, number one, control the mind. Number two, practice. Practice what? Practice not letting the mind go here and there. When the mind is controlled, this will be easy. Not letting the mind run here and there will become easy. So then practice that. Practice is required. Mind will run. Mind is like a monkey. Mind will always run. That is the nature of the mind. Mind cannot sit still. So practice not letting it go here and there, and then try to make it think only about this Paramam Purusham Divya. So Anu Chintayan. Chintayan is to meditate. Here, that's why they meditate. So Anu, but after having done these things, now you meditate. Now the question arises, and here we were. What exactly should I meditate on? I should have knowledge now. Just meditate. What should I meditate on? So now he gives his autobiography. The next verse is his own description. He's describing himself as the supreme self, not as the form of Lord Krishna. Kavim Puranam Manushasitaram अणोरणीयान् समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्. Whosoever meditates upon the omniscient, the ancient, the ruler of the whole world, the minuter than an atom, the supporter of all, of form inconceivable, effulgent like the sun, and beyond the darkness or ignorance. So this is the roadmap. This is meditation. Remember, following control of the mind, not letting it go here and there. Now meditate upon what? Upon the goal. The goal is kavim. Kavi word literally translated means poet. But kavi, the break of that word is kranta darshanaha kavi. Kranta darshana means one who knows it all. So sarvadnya, the word, all knowing, that word is represented here by kavim. And this, my father's writing is there by heart. So their Acharya asked them to memorize this verse. Why memorize? Because when we memorize and we know what these words mean, first let us understand what they mean. When we memorize, then keep memorizing this, then at the end we'll remember this. And if we remember this verse, that is, we're gone. We're gone to him only now. There's no other way. Okay. So this is the highest definition of the pure consciousness that is given. So in Hindi, there is a saying, those of you who understand Hindi, Kavi jaye jahan Ravi na jaye. So Ravi is sun. So where the sun even cannot reach, the poet can reach. By imagination. Because you know how poetry is written, right? It is full of imagination. So there even, right? So the Kavi word is used for this pure consciousness, because pure consciousness is, he's a know-it-all. He's really a know. We are like pretending know-it-all, but he's really know-it-all. He's really Sarvadnya. Okay, so that is what is meant by Kavim. This is one description of him. Puranam, that's the next word. These are all adjectives. Puranam. Pura api nava. Iti Purana. Purana means ancient. Ancient means timeless, actually. What it means? Purana api nava. Purana means old yet new. Old yet new. What does it mean? Old yet new. Old, they're opposite. So the best example that I can give you is of this present moment. See, this present moment, every moment to moment, it's a new moment, right? In the morning, we had a class that was a new moment. Now this is a new moment. Now after class, there'll be a new moment. However, these moments have been available to us since our birth. So they're pretty old, actually. And yet they are new. And therefore, this word Purana represents timelessness. So there is no beginning. And because there is no beginning, there will not be an end. Whatever, begins in time will end in time. But by saying Puranam, this word has come in chapter 2 as well. By saying Purana, old yet new. That means it's neither old, it is just there. It is just there. Okay, this pure consciousness. Anushasita. Anushasita is Sanskrit word. Sashita is governance. So he is the ruler of the entire world. Okay. How does he rule? See, there's a cotton cloth. Okay. Rule is what? Control, na? King. Or the government is controlling this country, right? Making the rules, what we should follow, what we should do, not do. Traffic rules, forget government. We have the ICBC traffic rules, right? So you see a red light, orange light, don't do this, don't go over this space. That is what is Shasan is. That is what is meant, discipline. So he's the ruler of the entire world, because if you take a piece of cotton cloth, in and through that cloth is the cotton thread. Okay. Now what happens is when you put it in the dryer or the washing machine, that thread shrinks. What is shrinking is the cotton thread. Now that thread shrinks and now the cotton, that whole cloth shrinks. Do you get this idea? So what is happening is that thread is controlling the cloth. The thread, because it is in and through that cloth, if the thread expands, that cloth will expand. If the thread shrinks, that cloth will shrink. And that is how it becomes the controller of that cloth. Similarly, Ishvara, being in and through the creation, he controls. He is the inner controller of all things, beings, everything in the universe. That is how this ruler of the world is. How does he rule? That is how he does. Anoraniyan, minutest, the smallest of the small. Actually, Upanishad also describes smallest of the small and largest of the large. Because if you say smallest of the, because our intellect is only used to having these concepts. So when I say small, if I just say small, then you can say, oh, how small, then I'll say, oh, like a mustard seed, so pure consciousness is smaller than the mustard seed. So there's a concept that can be formed. Okay. So by saying, the reason is that we cannot understand pure consciousness or know pure consciousness through the intellect. So if I get this concept that pure consciousness is smaller than a mustard seed or an atom, so that I don't get that concept, Upanishad immediately says it's larger than the, how much larger? Is it larger than the whole earth? Is it larger than the whole, planetary system? Is it larger? So both are said, smallest and largest, means it is all pervading. It is there in the smallest of the small. It is there in the largest of the large. It is all pervading. It is neither small. If it is all pervading, how can you say it is small or it is large? It's neither. Those small and large are concepts of the intellect. We cannot have any such concepts where pure consciousness is concerned. And therefore, the idea with this Anoraniyan should be all pervading. It is all pervading. Not like it's so tiny, small. Anu smaredya. Anu, again, anu, follow. Smaredya. Smaredya what? Understand these words and then remember them in the seat of meditation. That mind, which you have now controlled and not allowed to go here and there, it needs to get fixated on these words after having understood them correctly. Because if I think Kavi, oh, that poet, whoever, if I think of the poet, then gone. I'm gone. Purana, old. Oh, yeah, my mother, she was old before she died. They're gone. Gone. You can't, you have to remember and understand and then remember correctly what this means. Ruler of the world. Oh, Hitler. Somebody might think, oh, he wanted to be the ruler of the world. Now Putin is trying to do that's gone. Gone. So understanding correctly. Next is Sarvasya Dhataram. Sarvasya Dhataram is upholding everything. Sarvasya Dhataram indicates he's the Karma Phala Data. Ishvara, Karma Phala Data. What is karma action? Phala result. Data giver. He is the giver of results of action. Now, does he randomly just give out results of actions? No. Because he's Sarvasya, I told you, Kavim, he's Sarvasya, he's all knowing. He knows the past of all the jivas. So depending on what they have done in the past and their present efforts, the result is granted. And that's why he's Sarvasya Dhataram. And that's how the world keeps going. So he's supporting the world that way by giving the results of actions that people are doing. The jivas are all doing actions. We cannot live without doing actions. So, and the law of action is that there will be a result. Like law of gravity, if it's a law, it has to happen. You throw something up in the air, it has to come down. Either slowly, either fast, either whatever, but it will eventually come down. Okay, that way, all the karmas that are done, they will give results. We'll be talking about this in detail in the fundamentals class, the 3 types of karmas. But Sarvasya Dhataram here, he is the Karma Phala Data, giver of the fruits of result, actions. But they are not randomly, oh, I don't like her, so let me just punish her. I like, so I'll give them. Not like that. Whatever. It's like, you go and write an exam. Whatever you write in the paper, that many marks you will get. point is, we don't know, we know what we have done in this life, but or in this, suppose if there is a project, and I know I put in a lot of work for this project, but I don't know what I've done in my past lives. Okay, so that past life becomes destiny. So if I have done something positive, conducive to this, then that will help the efforts that I put forth, and the result will be as I want. This is how this law of karma works. But if I have not done something properly there, then no matter how much effort I put in this life, I will not get that desired result. That's why people say, you know, oh, I worked so hard, but I didn't get what I wanted or what I was hoping for. Or some say, oh man, I just breezed through that exam and I got, you know, first class or whatever. Because they don't know what is there in the past. It's like, you know, when you're riding a bike or even walking or running, if the wind is behind you, pushing you, it actually helps you go faster. But if the wind is in your face, then you will be slowed down. Or you have to put in more effort to cycle or run or walk. Just even walking, I find that, you know, sometimes the wind is so strong on my back. I just feel like I'm walking faster than I actually am. So that wind is what our destiny is from our past life. So if we have done something where the wind will be on our back, that means it will help us in whatever efforts that we are putting in now in the present. And otherwise, it'll be stopping. So depending on that, Ishvara is dishing out results. It is not a random dishing out of results. It is as per what we have done. Achintya Rupam. Achintyam is through the mind. Saying Roop is form. Our Achintya Rupam indicates that we cannot see him through the sense organs, perceive him by the sense organs. So Rupam only is used here, which means Rupa is form. So the eyes see form, but it also includes smell. You cannot smell him, you cannot taste him, you cannot touch him, you cannot hear him. Okay, but Rupa here is first we see the form and then we remember the name, and that is how we know everything in this world. We know the name and form of the world. But Bhagwan doesn't have, he has a name, we give it a name. It doesn't have a form, he's formless. That's all. And because he's formless, he can accommodate all forms. Like the movie screen, it is always white. No matter which theater you go to in the world, have you ever seen a colored screen? Red, blue, green? No, it's all white. Why? Because only the white screen can support all the colors. If it was red, then you can't see red in there. If it was green, you can't see, right? So that's why it is colorless. It's white. The screen is always white. Planetarium, you go, IMAX, you go, wherever you go. And then all the colors are projected on it, and all the colors are that way. The pure consciousness is formless, and therefore all the forms are supported, big, small, whatever. Therefore, achintya means you cannot think of him by the mind. You have to transcend the mind intellect to know him. And knowing him is becoming him. There is nothing like knowing him. And this is what is to be understood. That I cannot, that's why I cannot form any concept. He's smaller than the mustard. Maybe he's bigger than Everest. Maybe he's longer than the Nile River, or maybe he's longer than this river. No. There's nothing like that. Because those are all concepts of the mind intellect, and we have to transcend both mind and intellect. We cannot form any such ideas about pure consciousness. Aditya Varnam, Aditya sun, brilliant like the sun, effulgent like the sun. This also we have to understand. Effulgent like the sun means what? Means whatever, suppose midday, 12 o'clock sun, is he that brilliant? No, he's even more brilliant than that. That is the point that has to be understood here. See, example of bulbs, you know, we have a 40-watt bulb and we have a 100-watt bulb. So of course the 100-watt bulb is giving much more brighter light than the 40-watt bulb. This is our experience, right? We know this. But you put that 100-watt bulb outside in the brilliant sun. Well, do you think that 100-watt bulb is going to even shine, or will you be even able to see it? If the sun is absolutely shining, you know, midday sun, you will not, that 100-watt bulb means nothing in there. In a dark room, yes, it is very important, but outside, no. Now, think about the sun. Who is actually illumining the sun? Who is saying that the sun is there? I am. How am I saying it? Because I'm looking at the sun with my eyes, right? So my eyes are what is illumining the sun. So if I am illumining the sun, if my eyes are illumining the sun, my eyes are more powerful than the sun. Because if my eyes were like 100-watt bulb, then nothing. 100-watt bulb cannot illumine the sun, right? To illumine the sun, something which is more effulgent has to illumine it. So my eyes are, now you go even further. My eyes, fleshy eyes are inert. So what is the power behind these eyes that is illumining the sun? That is the light of power, pure consciousness. That's why in chapter 15, Bhagavan says that I am the light behind the sun. We think sun is the brightest. As we know it in the luminaries, sun is truly the brightest. Then borrowed light is moon. Then fire also gives light. Lightning gives light. Stars also have light. But sun is the brightest among all. And I am the one, a conscious being. I, as a conscious being, is the one who is illumining the sun, who is validating the sun, who is saying that the sun is shining out there in the universe today. And that's why I, the big I, okay, I, as the pure consciousness, is even more brilliant than the sun. So when it said Aditya Varnam, as brilliant as the sun, actually it is more brilliant than the sun. It is because of my light that the sun is shining, that the sun is getting validated. So this is a concept which is a bit difficult, but understand it that way. Okay? Aditya Varnam. Tamasa parastat. Beyond the darkness or ignorance. And exactly this point I explained in the earlier class. The light of pure consciousness is the one that tells me, that simultaneously tells me what I know and what I don't know. Right in the same moment, I know that I know physics, and at the same time, exactly same time, I know that I don't know chemistry. Same time, simultaneously. Yugapat, that's a very important word in law, in the commentaries it comes. Yugapat. Yugapat means simultaneously. I come to know this and I come to know that. And that is the light of consciousness. That is what is meant by tamasa parastat, beyond ignorance. It is the one that is making me aware of my ignorance. It is the one that is making me aware of my knowledge. I have knowledge of physics. I am ignorant of chemistry. And both knowledge and ignorance are being illumined by the pure consciousness. That is how this pure consciousness is to be understood. This is a definition of the pure consciousness. Though pure consciousness can never be defined. Sant Naneshwar says, even if you say Brahman, you've tainted the pure consciousness. You cannot say anything. But this is how this is, okay? These words, some of you have just come into this chapter, but these words have been previously told by Bhagavan, okay? And this is, but here, each chapter stands on its own of Bhagavad Gita, and that's why the goal, the path, and how to get to the goal, everything is explained in every chapter. So here the thing is control of the mind. Control the mind, let it not run here and there, and then now meditate on this verse. Okay, this is specific to this chapter. All right. Okay, shall we go now for further? This is also प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. At the time of death, with an unshaken mind, full of devotion, by the power of yoga, fixing the whole prana breath in the middle of the two eyebrows, he reaches that supreme resplendent Purusha. Okay, this person, Mind is completely under his control. Mind is not allowed to run here and there. Has meditated on verse 9. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram, understanding the correct meanings of those words. Now what happens at the end? Now he has come to, he's a very lucky person that he knows that his end has come. See, that is another point of that Sarveshu Kaleshu. We don't know how death is going to come to us. That is the main thing. See, that Bhagavan he has told us death is for certain to the body. That we know. But what we don't know is when. And that's why that Sarveshu Kaleshu becomes very important. Because people go to sleep, don't wake up in the morning. Do I have to like give you proof? Or all of you know that, right? People wake up in the morning, they just go to sleep, they get a stroke in the middle of the night. They go into a coma suddenly. So we don't know what is going. That's why he says every time you keep thinking of me. So in the middle of the night, if you go, that's why we have prayers, morning prayers and evening prayers. Before going to bed, you think of me. Then in the middle of the night, if you go, at least your last thought was of me. That is the idea. That is the idea. Morning, you think of me, then whole day, if something happens to you, you've thought of me in the morning. That is the idea of that Sarveshu Kaleshu. Now here, this is a very ideal situation. Okay, this person is highly evolved, control mind. Now at the time of death, what he does, he knows. This is how they take Samadhi, by the way. Sant Naneshwar, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, we don't know, he just walked into the Himalayas, but Sant Naneshwar, Gajanan Maharaj also, I think, took Samadhi. So there are people who have taken, Sant Naneshwar, though I know, at the age of 28 or something, he just said, I'm going in, and this is what they have done. So they were actually Jivan Mukta only, they were realized. So what they do is they will take the pranas up through the that will come now, Sushumna Nadi, and then release it from here. Okay. But here, this is a person who has controlled his mind. And now the mind is unshaken. Right? Because Nanya Gamina, he has not allowed the mind to go, and he has done Abhyasa Yoga. So he has practiced his mind, not letting his mind run here and there by devotion. See, what we love, we think of the most. No? Do we think of somebody whom we don't like? Or at least we don't, if the thought comes also, we don't, oh God, I don't want to think of that person, like I don't like that person. I don't. But if a thought comes, this is, the funniest thing, yesterday my grandson was here and we were playing. And just after he left, a friend of mine phoned and I'm like, hey, hi, how are you? She was like, oh my God, what happened? Why are you sounding so happy? And then even I thought, why suddenly, I was like all, and then I realized, because I was so happy playing with my grandchild that, immediately when she called, I'm like, yeah, kind of thing, right? So what you love, you are happy to think about that and you will keep your mind there. You will. So that's why he brings in devotion. This all from 7 chapters going into devotion only. This is, if you have love for me, then you will think about me. So love me. Have devotion for me. This is what Bhagavan is saying. And we will love him if the more we come to know of his great qualities and stuff like that. Don't be afraid. It is not like, he's not like Hitler. People were following his instructions because they were afraid of him. We must never be afraid of God. You should not be fear of God that I'm doing it this, Not like that. Out of love, you see, there is things you do out of love and there are things you do out of fear. Right? So don't do out of fear. Do out of love. Love him. He will love you back 10 times. That's why I say you walk 1 step, it seems God will walk 10 steps. But we don't even walk 1 step. I'm saying, what can I do? At least 1 step you take towards me. Otherwise, how can I come? So this is why devotion. Then by the power of yoga. What yoga is this? This is that Abhyasa yoga, which he mentioned already, right? So the practice he has done, fixing the whole prana in the middle here. So you think, even in chapter 6, he told, when you meditate, you fix your mind here. You have to give the mind a place to stick. So here, he's keeping the pranas here and then sticking to all that what he has heard before. And the mind is under his control. So that's why now this he can do. Then he reaches the supreme. What happens is from here, the pranas will go from the Brahmarandra. There's a soft spot here on our head. The realized masters, their pranas, we have got so many apertures in the body. So pranas, from which aperture they leave determines our next birth. So they can go from here, you're reached the supreme. That's it, no more birth. But they can go from the heart, from the lower part of the body, then you're going into lower yonis, all that is there. But here we are not talking of all that. Here we are talking of a person who is controlled mind. Because the question is, how does a person know you at the time of death? One who has controlled his mind. So now Bhagavan is saying he's controlled his mind. He has done Abhyasa Yoga, practiced keeping the mind at one place. And then at the time, he knows that his time of death has come. Very fortunate this person is. He knows that the time has come. So now he is totally detached from everything. And now concentrating on this spot, he now lets go of his pranas. So they will go from the top. Okay. Now meditation on Om. Those who are studying Taittiriya Upanishad, I told you that in the Upanishad, in the Vedas, the meditation is only on Om. It is not on any other deity. Okay, so here, this is a thing he has lifted from Kathopanishad. Yes, Bhagwan has, lifted verses from Upanishad because it is a essence of the Upanishads that he's telling us. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yat yatayo vitaragaha yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. That which is declared imperishable by the Veda knowers, that which the self-controlled and desire-freed enter, that desiring which brahmacharya is practiced, that goal I will declare to thee in brief. So now he's telling Arjuna the goal. He's telling us the goal. What is the goal? That Vadanti is spoken, that which is spoken by the Vedas. And Vedas only speak of Om. They do not speak of Rama and Krishna and Matarani and no other deity, okay? Vedas, it's only Om, the highest. So that Om, Vishanti yat yatayo vita ragaha, very important word. Raga here is attachment, vita is without, devoid of. So devoid of attachment to what? Attachment to body, mind, intellect. Okay, detached to the world, that is simple actually, but detachment from the body, mind, and intellect and ego becomes very, very difficult. So the one who is striving, yatayo is to strive. The one who is unattached, he enters that goal. Which goal? The goal that Vedas talk about. That's why the word Vedas is not like I am talking. What is Vedas talking about? Om. Vedas don't talk of any other goal other than Om. So that's why this is referring only to Om. And it is from Kathopanishad. So it is direct verses directly from the Upanishad. Direct. So he hasn't even improvised. Yadichanto brahmacharya charanti. Brahmacharya, control of all the faculties. Brahmacharya word is misunderstood because it's taken as celibacy. It is not celibacy. It is a control of all the senses. And the controlled mind. Brahmacharya is that controlled mind. Abhyasa yogena na anya gamina. That line is this, in one word here, it is brahmacharya. So he has controlled all his faculties. Obviously his mind is under his control, and such a mind is detached from the world and from his own body. That goal, tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe, I will tell you about that goal. Which is the goal? Number one, the Vedas are talking about it. Therefore it is Om, and therefore we know it is not any deity. If Vedas are talking about something, it is only Om. They do not talk of anything else. Then the one who has detached himself from everything, how? Abhyasa yogena. What was the Abhyasa yoga? Don't let the mind run here and there. So if you do not want the mind to run, it has to be under your control. Only then you cannot allow it to run here and there. Okay, so that one I will tell you now. That is what he's saying. All right. Any questions? Okay. Shall we do one more? सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याध्यायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम्. We do 13, we do together, 12 and 13. Omiteekaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran yaprajati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. Having closed all the gates, having confined the mind in the heart, having fixed the life breath in the head, engaged in the practice of concentration, uttering the one-syllabled Om, the symbol of Brahman, and remembering me, he who departs, leaving the body, attains the supreme goal. See how many conditions there are? We will attain supreme goal if first, mind control, senses control, abhyasa yoga, practice. Don't let the mind run here and there. Sarva dvarani, dwara gates. How many gates do we have? 7, 9, 11. Take your pick. 7 on the face. If you 9 is the genitals and the anus. If you go 11, then it is this and navel. Okay, so we have seen that. Either the 7 gates, 9 gates, 11, whatever gates, mind is not allowed to run anywhere. How does the mind run? I see form, mind runs there. I want that form. I hear something, I want to hear that. I want to taste that. This is how the mind is running. So mind is now completely under. Sayam Hridhi Nirudhyacha. So held in the heart and then meditating here. So holding the mind here in the heart. Heart, why? Love. Devotion, right? Love is where? It is in the heart. It's not in the head. Love is always in the heart. So something that I love. That's why the mind is held on something which I love. So that's why heart. Okay. And then holding the mind here. Life breath in the head. So pranas, life breath, pranas. So I told you pranas here. Engaged in the practice of, again, practice, abhyasa yogena, very important word, abhyasa. Then what? Uttering the one syllable Om. I told you, if it is from the Veda, there is nothing other than Om in the Vedas. Okay. There is no deity, there is no form, there is no nothing. So Om. And then, which is the symbol of Brahman, we have to, I hope you all, Uma representing, the entire world of names and forms, and the silence after that is the pure consciousness. So see this Om, I'll tell you something about this Om also. Brahman and remembering me, not the form of Krishna. This is not the form of Krishna. Remembering me as the supreme consciousness. That's why that understanding of him has to be absolutely correct. That he is not the form. He is that supreme consciousness. Me, he who departs. Now he lets his departs. He will come to attain the supreme goal. Easily bol diya Bhagwan ne. But it is not that easy to do. But the thing is, Om, see this Om in Prashnopanishad, this comes. Om, because it is a representation of name and form, or you can say is the waking state, O is the dream state, and Ma is the deep sleep state. They see Om is that Om represents the world also, and Om represents Brahman also. Now, when I'm chanting Om, I have a choice, or how I've trained my mind. If there are people, they chant Om, but their thing is material gain. That is even in Om, there is that thing. The Om has the power. You think of Om as the supreme, here you think of Om as the supreme, therefore remembering me, supreme reality, okay? But there are people who meditate on Om and they look for material prosperity, and Om will give you that as well. It can give you health, it can give you wealth, it can give you anything extroverted also, it can give you, but it can give you the highest, so don't shortchange yourself. If you're chanting Om, understand that it is the highest. People do that, not like, see, Om, it's not, see, the one who is concentrating more on the syllable, it indicates Om is not that he's chanting not like that, not like that, not like that. He is chanting Om. Okay, Om I'm chanting, but my attention is on the representing the waking state. So in the waking state, whatever will make my life comfortable. That is what it indicates. Because I'm thinking of the waking state. So when I chant Om, I must only think of the pure consciousness. That is how it is. Like I said, I gave you the example. If I say Girish, and if my husband's form comes to my mind, then I'm meditating on my husband, not on Lord Shiva. So that name, what thought is it generating in your mind is very important. Therefore, that abhyas, so that's why knowing becomes very important. Kavi verse 9 becomes very important. I have to know Om as that Kavim Anushasi, that is definition of Ishvara, but that is how the pure consciousness. Then I have to control my mind. Then by abhyasa, by practice, I have to practice keeping it on one spot. And then at the time of death, if I'm lucky enough to know that my time of death, which most of us don't, then then he will come to me. Then he chants Om, he thinks of me. Then when he leaves, when the pranas leave the body, they will come straight to me. Okay. So we will have a class next Sunday and we will continue. So now, is it like, if you hear it, for some it will be very difficult. Those who are not prepared, it's difficult. Those who are prepared, it is easy. Yeah. Yes, Ankit.
So here, as you said, Om is a supreme, that I understand. But initially, for like guy like me, right? So it's hard to meditate on Om. So firstly, we have to meditate on Ishta Devata. Like we have to have that form of Lord Shiva initially.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in chapter 12 also, Bhagavad Krishna says, like the person who thinks of me as a form, even that person comes to me.
Yeah.
Like following that path. So initially we have to have that East data in our mind to have that connection.
Yeah.
First, right?
Yeah. It depends on where you are. If you're 6, 7 years old, you need to go into grade 5 or 4 or whatever. Mind, right? Because we don't know what we have done in our past life. So maybe I've done meditation on Ishta Devata in my past life. No, I haven't, but maybe then that person can suddenly go to Om in this life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but you're right.
But initially, like for me,
Saguna
I don't know.
Bhakti.
Like Saguna Bhakti, I have to like for me, I have to like for me, I have to think about Shiva, right?
Correct.
So I have to just think of Shiva every time.
If you love Shiva,
yeah,
then you will, I told you, whatever you love, you'll think of him. Because I've told this, and that's why you're brand new. So anyway, that's why in every what practice we have to do is in every interaction with the world, we must somehow bring God in there. Okay. So when something good happens, you say thank you, Shiva. If Shiva is your Ishta Devata, I say thank you, Krishna. I say Krishna. Okay, Krishna, what is this? Everything I ask Krishna only. Why I can't get this? Why I can't get my TV to work? What are you doing to me? Every interaction, you must bring the Lord in there. That is abhyasi.
Yeah. So yesterday also, like something happens, I just say like whatever is happening is because of you. What are gonna happen is because of you.
Yeah.
I'm not taking responsibility. It's your responsibility
No.
to make me this much better. It's not my responsibility. So if something happens to me, it's your responsibility, not my responsibility.
Yeah. That is
Right?
very true.
So
But
I told Lord Shiva,
that doesn't mean that you intentionally go and do harm to
no.
somebody and say, oh, this
Yeah.
happened.
That is my
Make
choice.
sure. Yeah, because
that is my choice. That is awareness. That is my choice. Like I'm not gonna do anything hurt to anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm saying initially to get there, we have
yes. Agreed. Even initially, before even in meditating on Lord Shiva, you need to purify your mind.
No, because that's why I was reading. I want to read the book for Swami Chinmaya's Meditation and Life. So in that he teaches us like exactly how to do, like start with
Control the
initial
mind.
stage, control the mind. Because first thing I have to purify my mind.
Yeah.
And for that, in that Swamiji explains, so you have to do japas like initially to form that Ishta Devata, to control, to purify the mind.
Yes.
Right?
Agreed. Yeah. There are other books too. Kindle Life is another good book for you to read.
So I have most of the book of Swamiji.
Good. So read
I for the only thing I love this is because of Swamiji.
Swami, so Gurudev. Okay. Very
Gurudev.
good.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. You're on the right path.
Because
Don't have to worry.
Swamiji is the only thing entire world, the only thing I realize, only one I feel like connecting is Swamiji, because he's not teaching like bigger and small. He teaching the truth. Not like, oh, this is bigger, this so God is smaller, this is no. He's actually teaching the
Advaita
truth.
Vedanta, yeah.
Advait Vedanta, that which is only one. That is no like, which is high. The Krishna is bigger, Shiva is smaller. No. So that the only one is truth is one. That Advait, that which is one, not two.
Correct.
Which is
Correct.
dividing you is not the one.
Correct.
So that's why I really love and like it.
Good.
So
So
I'm
stay
really
on the
grateful
path.
for that.
Slowly it will come. You're on the right track. So you will
Yeah.
reach your destination someday. Okay, so there is a class next Sunday, like I told in the morning class. Please do think for the 13th. It's a long weekend. Whether you guys want to have this class, you tell me. Monday class 14th will be cancelled, and 12th Saturday class will be cancelled. And I on the 4th I'm going to ask about the Friday class. So so you have 1 week next week to tell me whether you do want to continue with the class on the 13th or not. Okay, I'm just giving you guys the choice. It's a long weekend, by the way, that's why. And 14th definitely is getting cancelled. I can tell you that right now, Monday people. All right, Friday again there is a choice. So you tell me. All right. Okay. Have a great week, and happy Truth and Reconciliation Day. I don't know whether they say happy, but a recognition day of the First Nations. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Kshobarahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, Hari Om, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Nice
Jayji.
seeing you, Prem Sai, after a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jayaji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hari
Jayaji.
Om. Bye-bye. Bye.